Welcome to Thanks Invest. We talk about investing, finance, and professionalism. As a recording time of 3:04 p.m. on the Eastern Time, Ethereum currently $3,881, down about close to 2% so far. On the overall crypto market versus the equity market, we are seeing a clear anti-correlation effects happening today. With the key coins, let's just talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum respectively, both down about 2%. While altcoins selectively, some are more microly driven. You can see that MagTech and AVAX right now are both up, with Polygon or MagTech up about 2.2% right now. AVAX is up about close to 14.46% at the moment. So we'll dive into the technicals in a bit to see what is happening, why is it microly driven like this, and how short-lived or long-durated can this be. And on the equity market, we can see clearly that we're rebounding nicely, or at least normalizing in a more of a normalized fashion. Dow Jones currently still down about 1% right now, while Nasdaq is rebounding nicely. Seems like a lot of the small cap, high growth stocks are rebounding. So there's definitely some sector rotations amongst the hedge fund community, with obviously a lot of the small cap, high growth stocks that are predominantly within the technology sector being driven by some confidence from the investors, translates into being the index up about 0.36% at the moment. SPY is still down about 0.48%, but I'll give that as a benefit of doubt that we're relatively just flat at the moment. And on Ethereum specifically, we're currently down close to 2% right now, hovering above the $3,850, which is the technical consolidation zone. And as you saw earlier today, ever since the morning of pre-market perspective, obviously we were still recovering from the interest rate spike from UK, right? Seems like they are taking the inflationary maneuver heads on a little bit earlier in comparisons to the US Fed's approach, right? Obviously, Jerome, based on the recent FOMC meeting, that we have no intentions of raising interest rate at the current moment, right, within Q4 this year, but we will be doing so in later next year, right? And it's going to be 3 occurrences. But in terms of specific time, when is that going to be happening, like what month and what quarter, Jerome has not specified that at all yet, right? Because we're still triangulating with respect to, obviously, the job numbers and the COVID cases. Seems like it's still kind of percolating, and we don't really have full clarity, as obviously the US government is still collaborating with the medical officials and scientists to identify a solution, right, in a tactical perspective, and subsequently that will lay out in the translations of a timeline for the interest rate hikes, right? However, we did hear from Jerome that he did take a tactical approach by shaving the quantitative tapering, which is obviously the asset purchasing of $120 billion into mortgage-backed securities on a monthly basis, from $120 billion to $30 billion. So with that sizable shift, obviously we're taking a heads-on onto fighting inflationary pressure. So all of these macro affectation combined with just COVID cases, Chinese delisting, anti-correlation effects, window dressing, today's quad reaching as well, drive into the current translations right now. So today's Friday is more of just a day that we are seeing a huge convolution in the market, right? And we translate into some optimism. And the optimism is because the technical is rebounding, because we're relatively depleted, right? 3,650 was technically on an RSI scale of below 35. We're technically close to being 30 out of 70. So that means we're reversing sharply. And that's exactly why we see this mini red candle, right? So let's just dive into the technicals and then go through the news real quick. So respect to recording time of, again, right, 3:09 p.m. on Eastern Time. Ethereum's current trading about $3,000, close to $900, down about 1.77% right now. And right now we are sustaining above a substantive resistance level, right? But the real level that we need to really watch is with respect to 4,000. Can we break above that flat number all over again to convey confidence among the entire market all over again? Because technically, if we get above 4,000, that means we need to go up to the 4,150, or in this case, 4,178, right? But I would just say 4,150 for the sake of just keeping it easy for us. And I think that's a critical level we need to watch for. And if there isn't really any specific negative news that's going to be percolating this weekend, and again, right, Saturday and Sunday are days that are quite interesting. Right, Saturday are typically relatively non-active in terms of the media fronts, but again, more active as you lean towards the later part of the Saturday, as the Saturday news, Sunday start to, arise from the international side of the house. And then Sunday is where the media front will actually percolate and become a little bit more active, which will drive some volatility ahead, right? But if you believe in the technical, I think right now is still a relatively good level to incur risk, right? I think obviously if you were able to buy at the 3,650, that was the logical level. Right now it's not terrible either with the 43 out of 70, so we're not like at the perfect level, but it's not terrible either, right? So right now, if you want to incur some risk to build long term, you still have the opportunity in terms of the risk versus reward ratio. Right now, Bitcoin's hovering 46,800 at the moment. We are still within, below the 47 or 4,800 technically. You can see clearly we did not break to below to the 43,900. That's because we were relatively depleted, right? We still depleted at the 35 out of 70 at the moment. And the reason we got to the 45 is because of a flat number, right? 45 is like a flat number, 46 is a flat number, 47 is a flat number. Whenever you encounter those number, people place limit orders around there. But we know truly that the 44 or 43,932 is the technical resistance level, right? So we never got there, so that shows some, strength from investors' appetites, and that's a good sign, right? But right now we need to really watch the needle to see can we go back up to about 48 all over again. So we'll keep an eye out on it, but if there's I would say that most of the negativity has been pretty much baked into the market already. With sustained and basically weeks of negativity, and obviously with extra fear mongering that happened this past week, I think, can we really squeeze more lemon out of this lemon that the lemon's relatively wrinkled already? I would say no, right? I would say now is still the level to incur risk because it's the logical thing to do. And that's why we are staying within technicals and just speak the technicals instead of using our emotions. Respect to Dogecoin, down about 2% right now. At the moment, it's still at the okay level, 40 out of 70. So ideally, anywhere from current level all the way to 1575 is still a good dip for us. Cardano is down about 1.31%. Anywhere from the current level to 120 is still a good dip for us. Solana is currently down about 3.06%. I would say it's okay. 44 out of 70 is not the best, not the worst. Obviously, you could have bought it at 155, which is the level we identified before. But we are forming a close proximity to the golden cross, so that's not a terrible level to incur risk at the moment. But if you believe in long term, right now it's not a terrible level again, right? XRP is down about 1.70% so far. Anywhere, I would say right now it's still with the 35, 36 out of 70. So it's not terrible. Anywhere from 88 to 78 is still a good dip for us. Polkadot is down about 6% right now. Anywhere from the current level, right, all the way to what's the bottom again? Let's just reconfirm. At the 22 to current level is still a good dip for us. I think that's technically the bottom based on the resistance level that we identify here. ALGORAND down about 4.4% right now. I think anywhere from current level to 130 is still a good dip for us. Shiba Inu down about 4.2% right now. Anywhere from 2,900 to 900 is still a good dip for us. Polygon or MacTech is currently up about 2%, trying to reverse right now, but it seems like this is a head and shoulder. So not the best. I think the sell-off is still going to be imminent. Obviously, we reversed because of the overall macro, catalyst, driven by the key coins, not really because of MacTech. So 175 to 143 is still the dip for us. AVAX right now is up about 15% closely. I think right now is not the best level to incur risk at, to be honest with you. We form a golden cross, but we're still like relatively on the upper echelon of the neutral. We're close to being overbought. I don't want to be chasing the pump. So I think if you think you missed the dip, then it is what it is, right? But again, I kept saying that anywhere from 81 to 76 was the dip, right? That's why I put these levels here. and I don't suggest chasing now because right now the greed is relatively high on the index scale, and also the risk is exponentially higher by 14% in comparison to early this morning, right? So it's not the best in terms of like incurring your hard-earned cash at the moment. So let's just dive into the news real quick to see what's going on with respect to Bazinga. About 3 hours ago, talking about Ethereum whales just moved about 20,000 Ethereum off Binance. Seems like there's some whale activities going on. And then the next one is talking about on Bazinga 7 hours ago, about as Bitcoin Ethereum resumes downtrend. Here's what these popular analysts are saying. It seems like most of these analysts are relatively bullish based on what I hear. I don't really know who these are. They're like Twitter posts. You guys probably know them, but I typically stay away from reading other people's posts. I just read within what the technicals tells me because everybody have their own subjective or their own incentives or hidden agenda. So I'm not sure. I don't ever follow like other YouTubers in terms of what they say. I just kind of stay within myself. I'm just because I speak the language and technicals. So why try to convolute my thinking, right? So that's pretty much it on the news front as well. So with respect to the risk management level, these are levels identified so far. Let me know if you have any questions, right? We are within a lot of the attractive and steal levels for these respective coins already. So, feel free to take the calculated risk, that we are formalizing in front of us. Ultimately, it's about your tolerance, right? Obviously, if you have lower tolerance, you'll probably wait until the steal level. But you have to kind of maneuver through, are you being too greedy and are you being too impatient? Or are you being too patient and not being greedy? So it's like kind of a conundrum that you kind of have to self-correct, right? Ultimately, investing is both an emotional game but also a logical game. So for me, I tend to stay away from emotions because it always like mess with my execution. So I just stay within what I read in front of me, right? On the charts, speak the numbers, right? Stay factual most of the time. So that's it for today. Respect to this Friday. Really appreciate you for joining me again, and stay tuned to come up. Take care. Bye.